Los Angeles isn't just a city, it's a time machine. In 1950, it was exploding with chrome cars, neon lights and movie dreams, a place that promised a future on every corner. In 2025, it's a map of contrasts, skyscrapers where low streets once stood, crowded beaches where there used to be quiet, and a pace so fast it feels like the city changes overnight. But here's the question nobody asks. What did Los Angeles gain, and what did it have to sacrifice to become what it is today? Stay with me, because with every location you'll see, I'll show you the before and after. And in some of them, the difference is so shocking, it feels unreal. Sunset Boulevard is a living timeline of Los Angeles. In 1950, it was glamour and mystery, chrome cars, neon lights, and clubs where Hollywood felt untouchable. In 2025, it's speed and contrast, more traffic, more lights, more screens, and more people trying to be seen, not just by the city, but by the whole world. What's fascinating is that the essence is still the same. Sunset has always been a stage where dreams and real life walk side by side. And the question is simple: did it become more alive or just louder? Palm Drive in Beverly Hills feels like a movie corridor. In 1950, it was quiet elegance, fewer cars, discreet estates, perfect lawns, and a sense that everything was built for privacy. A post-war California dream. In 2025, the palms are still there, but the mood has shifted. More traffic, louder luxury, heavier security, and more people stopping just to capture the shot. So here's the question: did this street become more iconic or simply more staged? Santa Monica Pier is one of those places that looks the same, but isn't. In 1950, it was the simple post-war promise: families, cotton candy, amusement rides, the Pacific shining in the background, and a perfect day that didn't need to be recorded. In 2025, it's a global icon. More people, more lights, more noise, more cameras, yet the same feeling of freedom, just faster. What's fascinating is that even with all the change, the pier still does the same thing. It pulls you toward the ocean and reminds you that Los Angeles has always lived somewhere between fun and a dream. Walk of Fame on Hollywood Boulevard is where Los Angeles turns fame into a street you can literally walk on. In 1950, Hollywood felt distant. Stars were untouchable. Studios controlled the dream, and the boulevard carried a quieter kind of glamour. By 2025, it's louder and more crowded. Tourists, performers, flashing lights, cameras everywhere. Fame turned into an experience you can buy, film, and share in seconds. The fascinating part is that the promise never changed. People still come here chasing the same thing, a moment that makes them feel close to the legend. Griffith Observatory is where Los Angeles feels like a movie scene you can step into. In 1950, it was a quiet hilltop escape. Families came for the stars, the city below was smaller, and the lights at night felt like a distant glow. In 2025, the view is almost unreal. A sprawling ocean of buildings, traffic lines like rivers, and the Hollywood sign sitting above it all, now surrounded by a city that never stops expanding. What's fascinating is that the purpose stayed the same. People still come here to look up and somehow understand their place down below. Venice Beach Boardwalk is Los Angeles at its most raw and alive. In 1950, it was a laid-back coastal escape. Sun, sand, small crowds, and a beach culture that still felt local. By 2025, it's a non-stop human show. Street performers, skaters, artists, muscle beach workouts, murals, and tourists from everywhere, louder, brighter, and constantly moving. What's fascinating is that Venice never tried to be polished. It stayed a place where the city's freedom is on display, messy, creative, unpredictable, and impossible to forget. Bunker Hill on Grand Avenue is downtown LA's biggest glow-up. In 1950, this hill was steep, old, and full of everyday life, so much that Angel's Flight carried people up and down the slope. Then redevelopment erased the past and rebuilt the skyline. Today, Grand Avenue is all glass towers, culture and statement architecture, the Walt Disney Concert Hall's steel curves, and Grand Park connecting City Hall to the Music Center. Same hill, completely different city. In 1950, LAX was still a fast-growing airport built around temporary post-war terminals, freshly renamed Los Angeles International Airport in 1949. Then the jet age arrived. On June 25, 1961, the new terminal layout opened with the iconic theme building, a space-age flying saucer landmark at the center. Jump to 2025, and LAX handles over 76 million passengers a year, a non-stop global gateway. Yet that same theme building still screams mid-century future. In 1950, the Marina del Rey area near the Playa del Rey estuary was still more planning than place. Quiet coastland with big harbor dreams. Construction of the entrance channel jetties began in 1957, and after setbacks like the 1962-63 winter storm, the harbor was formally dedicated on April 10, 1965. By 2025, it's a fully engineered waterfront city, 4,800 boat slips, parks, restaurants and high-rises, one of the world's largest man-made small craft harbors. Wilshire Boulevard is LA's main street to the beach, running from downtown all the way to Santa Monica. In 1950, it already belonged to the automobile, drive-by storefronts and the rising Miracle Mile, built for motorists and modern shopping. By 2025, that same boulevard cuts through Koreatown, Beverly Hills and Westwood, with museum blocks, high-rises and constant traffic. LA grew around Wilshire, but Wilshire still stitches the city together from end to end. In 1950, Angel's Flight was downtown LA's tiny everyday shortcut, a 1-minute funicular ride up Bunker Hill for commuters and locals. It had 2 counterbalancing cars, Olivet and Sinai, climbing a steep 298-foot track that had been running since 1901. Then the hill was rebuilt, the railway disappeared, and Los Angeles changed around it. By 2025, Angel's Flight is back as a living landmark, restored and reopened in 2017, still carrying people between Hill Street and the hilltop like a time capsule you can ride. Los Angeles City Hall is one of the city's most timeless anchors. Completed in 1928, its Art Deco tower became the symbol of downtown. So dominant that for decades, no private building was allowed to rise higher. In 1950, City Hall still ruled a much lower skyline, like a single lighthouse above the Civic Center. In 2025, it's the opposite. The same tower is still there, but now it's surrounded by a forest of glass high-rises, proof that LA didn't replace its past. It built the future around it. Rodeo Drive, technically in Beverly Hills right next to Los Angeles, looks like pure luxury today. But in the 1950s, it was still a sleepy street, mixed with small houses and local businesses. The shift really ignited in 1961 when Giorgio Beverly Hills opened at 273 Rodeo Drive, pulling luxury brands to follow. By the late 1960s, designers like Gucci arrived and Rodeo became the global shopping street of the rich and famous. In 2025, those same few blocks are a curated stage of flagship boutiques. Rodeo turned glamour into geography. Mulholland Drive is Los Angeles' most cinematic spine in the hills. It follows the ridgeline above the city, and it's been a famous scenic route since it opened in 1924. Back then, it was called Mulholland Highway, named after engineer William Mulholland. In 1950, it felt like a quiet 2-lane escape. Curves, canyon air, and a city below that still looked small. In 2025, the road is the same, but the view is unreal. The Los Angeles basin, downtown, the Hollywood sign, and the valley stretching forever. Like the city grew into the horizon. And that's the question. Did LA change, or did it just reveal what it was becoming all along? In 1950, this Venice strip was still known as West Washington Boulevard. Low storefronts, beach town energy, and cars rolling past a neighborhood that felt local. In 1990-1991, it was renamed Abbot Kinney to honor the man behind Venice of America, which opened in 1905. By 2025, that same mile has become a global style corridor. Boutiques, galleries, restaurants, so iconic that GQ once called it the coolest block in America.